today. A Connecticut court threw out the conviction of Michael Skakel.
Martha Moxley, a 15-year-old, was murdered out.
15-year-old Martha Moxley.
Skakels were cousins of the Kennedys.
After she was murdered, everything had changed.
Investigators do believe that she knew her killer.
I think that he did something in a fit of jealousy.
Judges accused her colleagues of giving special treatment to Skakel because of his wealth, his race, and his connections to the Kennedy family.
Mr. Skakel, do you have anything to say?
Kennedy cousin Michael Skakel convicted in the murder of Martha Moxley.
There are numerous incidents that are bizarre and miserable to say the least, but the murder of a 15-year-old girl in 1975 broke a peaceful Connecticut community. Welcome to the crime circuit. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon to stay in touch. The girl's name is Martha Elizabeth Moxley, and she was a 15-year-old girl from Greenwich, Connecticut, a high school student who was murdered in 1975. Martha lived in the private Belle Haven section of Greenwich, Connecticut with her parents, Dorothy and David, and her brother John, in a secluded community where violent crime was rare. Another family in Belle Haven, which was the Skakel family, and Martha would develop a friendship with the two Skakel boys, 15-year-old Michael and 17-year-old Tommy. She used most of her time hanging with friends, which was pretty good. As a result, Martha kept writing about her interactions with the Skakels. In one note, she recounted a car ride with 17-year-old Tommy Skakel, saying, "I went driving in Tom's car, and it almost ended up sitting on Tom's lap. He kept putting his hands on my knee." Another entry would express concern about Michael's behavior. Martha would write a month before her death on September 19th that Michael was so completely out of it that he was being a real ass. "I really have to stop going over there." Despite their peaceful lives, everything turned into a nightmare right before Halloween. It all started on the night of October 30th, 1975. Martha went out with friends for a mischief night where kids rang bells and played pranks like throwing toilet paper over houses. According to friends, Martha flirted and eventually kissed Thomas Skakel, Michael Skakel's older brother. It was around 9:30 p.m. when Martha and Thomas were spotted following together behind the fence by the Skakel backyard pool. The next day, Moxley's body was discovered under a tree in her family's backyard. She had been hit near her driveway and dragged to that spot. Martha Moxley had been beaten and stabbed with a Tony Pena golf club. The police discovered a matching golf club from an identical set on the Skakel property. The golf club she was hit with broke from the force. Interestingly, there was no sign of SA, even though her underwear and pants were pulled down. At first, everyone thought that the person who killed Martha must be from outside the neighborhood, because Martha was last seen with the Skakels. The broken golf club at the scene also pointed to a well-known local family, the Skakels themselves. Police would ask them to share with them what happened that night. When questioned by the police, 15-year-old Michael Skakel said that he was with Martha that night, and 17-year-old Thomas Skakel was also with her. Michael mentioned going with his two older brothers to give their cousin a ride home from 9:30 p.m. He said he returned home around 11:30 p.m. and went directly to bed, while Thomas claimed he went home to work on a report about Abraham Lincoln. The police believe Martha was killed between 9:45 and 10 p.m. But what happened to Martha on her short walk home if Michael was in the car and Thomas was in his room? This was a huge mystery and at the same moment a shocking point. The investigators shifted their focus to a potential suspect within the Skakel household, 24-year-old Kenneth Littleton, recently selected as a live-in tutor for the Skakel children. Littleton reported hearing noises outside his house between 9:30 and 10 p.m. Before checking, he ensured that the well-being of the 7 Skakel children. Detective Solomon shared that Littleton asserted the absence of the 4 eldest boys, including Michael and Thomas. He claimed he did not see anything at the time that he was out. Littleton added that he saw Thomas at 10:25 when Thomas joined him in front of the TV. The remaining Skakel boys returned home half an hour. This development introduced a new angle to the investigation, with conflicting accounts and potential leads to explore. Over a few months, investigators talked to more than 200 people and did lie detector tests. Tommy Skakel took 2 lie detector tests. The first one didn't give clear answers, but he passed the second. As time passed, both Tom and Michael Skakel changed their stories about where they were on the night of Martha was killed. Michael first said he was doing something inappropriate near Martha's place, but later he said that he was in a tree from 11:30 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. Two guys who went to Elon School, a place for troubled kids, said that they heard Michael admit to using a golf club in the crime. One of those guys, Gregory Coleman, shared that Michael bragged about getting away with murder. "I'm saying I'm a Kennedy." Then investigators started looking into Kenneth Littleton, who was let go by the Skakels after 6 months. They gave him a lie detector test about Martha's murder, and he didn't pass. The changing stories and different people involved made the investigation even more confusing. Yet authorities believed they lacked sufficient evidence for an arrest, and the case went inactive. 16 years later, the William Kennedy Smith rape trial revived that Moxley case. The link between the Skakel and Kennedy families linked, even though Ethel Skakel and Robert F. Kennedy's marriage triggered renewed interest. Detective Solomon and the Greenwich police reopened the investigation in the response to this connection. In 1995, a leaked document from an inquiry ordered that Rushton Skakel pointed to Michael Skakel for the first time. In this statement, the investigators Michael revealed after returning home from his cousin's house, he didn't go straight to bed. Instead, he claimed to have gone outside, climbed a tree near Martha Moxley's home, and engaged in inappropriate behavior. In June of 1998, they brought in a special grand jury with one person to look at all the evidence in the case. After checking everything for 18 months, they decided there was enough proof to charge Michael Skakel with murder. On January 9, 2000, they issued an arrest warrant for an unnamed young person in connection with the Moxley's murder. Michael Skakel turned himself in on the same day and was let go after paying $500,000 in bail. On March 14th, there was a court session for the Skakel's murder charge in a juvenile court because he was 15 when Moxley was killed. Then, on January 31st of 2001, a judge said Skakel would be treated like an adult during the trial. Skakel's trial would kick off on May 7, 2002 in Norwalk, Connecticut, with a lawyer, Michael Sherman, representing him. Skakel claimed that he left his cousin's house when the murder happened. In court, the jury heard part of the taped book idea where Skakel talked about being in a tree on the night of the murder, possibly the same tree where Moxley's body was found. In that tape, Skakel didn't confess to the murder, but prosecutors used his words in a multimedia presentation with disturbing images of Martha's body during the closing arguments.
Looking at the evidence, Your Honor, looking at the state of the case, it is my belief that the state cannot prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt. So therefore, the state is going to enter a knowledge.
Meaning the state will not proceed.
We determined that there was, again, 51 potential witnesses, and 17 of them are deceased.
Even though the whole tape was played for the jury, the prosecutor left out the part where Skakel said that he was afraid he might have been jerking off, creating the impression of a confession.
It's the right result. Michael Skakel is innocent of this crime. He's been innocent from day one. The crime should have never have been something that ended up in a trial in the first place.
Skakel claimed to be at a friend's home several miles away watching Monty Python on television at the time.
June 7th, he was found guilty and got 20 to life. He was sent to the Garner Correctional Institution in Newton, Connecticut. Many people, especially those higher in echelons, believed that he still believed in complete innocence of Michael Skakel and the entire Skakel family regarding the murder of Martha Moxley.
I'll say this, that I don't think Michael Skakel is the devil. I think that he did something in a fit of jealous rage, and his life will never be the same, and mine will never be the same, and I wouldn't want to walk a mile in his shoes.
In 2013, Michael Skakel successfully won an appeal, leading to the complete overturning of his murder conviction due to inadequate representation by his defense counsel during the trial. However, in 2016, the state Supreme Court overturned the conviction, sending him back into legal proceedings. Remarkably, in 2018, the same court reversed the reversal, resulting in Skakel being set free once again. As of October of 2022, Michael Skakel remains free and faces no criminal charges. The prosecution has not yet decided whether to prosecute him again. Many witnesses crucial to the case have yet passed away. The Moxley family feels that injustice have been elusive, overshadowed by the Skakel's influence and financial resources.
These children that was just so easy. She just was so easy to raise.
This is the case of Martha Moxley, a tragedy that continues to stir emotions and questions. I love y'all. Stay safe. Till next time. Peace.